Hi Rail fans, I'm Mike and I work as a video content producer here at Hornby, and I also host our monthly YouTube series Signal Box. Today I'm going to be joined by Nathan, who is a video assistant here at Hornby. Say hi to everyone, Nathan.
Hello everyone.
Thank you to We Are Rail Fans for having us, and we're so excited to be a part of the first ever Railfan Fest. And we're honoured to be alongside so many great partners.
Many of you may know the name Hornby. Some of you may even have our logos running on your layouts. But some of you may not know as much. Today we're going to teach you all things Hornby.
The past 12 months have been unprecedented. The entire world halted as we dealt with the COVID-19 pandemic. Industries brought to a halt, key workers working to keep us safe, and friends and family members sadly passing away. It has forced us to re-evaluate our place in the world and discover a new normal. At various points across the world, countries went into lockdown to stop the spread of COVID-19. Being forced to not see friends and family and not being able to go outside, so many people have turned to hobbies as a way to help their well-being and to keep them entertained in these tough times. Crafts, crocheting, board games, plastic modelling and exercise all became our way of life. Pastimes long forgotten were rediscovered and old boxes in the loft dusted off, ready to see the light of day again.
Model railways in particular has had a resurgence of late, with old fans coming back to the hobby after a long time out. New fans have picked up the hobby for the very first time, and they all have very different stories to tell, but they're all looking for that same escape from reality. Hornby saw that firsthand as we celebrated our 100th birthday in a year that we will never forget. We saw sales of our models increase exponentially, not only for our Hornby brand, but Scale Electrics and Airfix too, as people took to modelling with a passion.
So where did it all start for us? Well, it started back in 1920 when Frank Hornby created his first model train. Since then, we've had different eras, different lines and different classes, from steam, electric to diesel. We're going to take a look back through the history now with some of our classic Hornby ads.
Trains, trains. Triang Hornby train sets. Triang Hornby train sets. Triang Hornby train sets. Triang Hornby train sets. If you want a train set, Triang Hornby make just the one you want.
On Munich motorways, the Aston Martin is going to overtake the Porsche. Oh, a crash! Calling all cars, crash, crash, crash. Fire engine alert, police car alert, proceed to racetrack immediately. Here's the breakdown van. Oh, it's held up by the road railer, and it's away again. Bit late, still only one car in trouble, nobody hurt. The Porsche's all right, just replace the Aston Martin, and off they go. It's an exciting world of your own with Munich motorways.
The great thing about Hornby railways is that they grow on you. And the more they grow, the more fascinating the hobby becomes. Gradually, you can add track, rolling stock and accessories, signals, stations, special wagons, even the latest Freightliner equipment. Get him a Hornby set for Christmas, Dad. It could be the start of something big.
You're looking at the latest great idea from Hornby. A complete train set for less than £5. It's a great way to start building a railway.
No, oh well, thanks very much anyway. Goodbye.
Townsend.
Hello, you know the Hornby double O model railway? Yeah. Do you have an R186 signal box?
Well, let's see. Yes, I got one left.
Great! They've got one, Mum.
Good old yellow pages. We're not just there for the nasty things in life, like a blocked drain or a broken window. We can help with the fun things, too.
Oh, hello, Ben.
Happy birthday, Dad.
really show you around this Hornby Railway. It's amazing. Look at this goods yard. Everything's so real. Good, eh? Hello, she's in trouble. Run out of petrol, love? You can talk to yourself round here. You got the brake on? Stop! That's the last time you play with my Hornby train set.
Hornby, use your imagination.
I just got this Thomas and Bertie set for my birthday.
Then I got the Intercity 225 for Christmas.
And then?
Then I got serious.
Hornby Railways. Start the way you mean to carry on.
Always wanted to be a train driver? It's fantastic! With Hornby Digital, the whole world is at your fingertips. Create your own vision on your PC, then make it come alive. And run 100 or more trains and accessories with the amazing Hornby Digital Control. A wonderful world in miniature with you in charge. That's the magic of Hornby.
Hornby, a passion for every generation.
Throughout our 100-year history, there's been many popular locomotives. Ask any model railway fan and they'll have their favourites, whether it's down to the livery, the class, or just their memories with that locomotive. But there is one particular model that has been a mainstay for many years, Smokey Joe. A small black steam locomotive with Smokey Joe painted on the side, this little locomotive has been in our lineup uninterrupted for 37 years. It's a great locomotive and is the perfect addition to any modeller's collection, young, old, expert or beginner.
Arguably, one of the most popular locomotives that we've released is the Stephenson's Rocket. A railway icon, although not the first steam engine, it was the most advanced engine of its time. Hornby released the Stephenson's Rocket back in 1963, and it quickly became popular amongst model railway fans, not only because of the iconic full-scale locomotive, but because of how amazing this small, powerful model was. In 2020, to mark our centenary year, we released an updated version of the Stephenson's Rocket for fans. It soon became one of our fastest selling locomotives of 2020, proving that nearly 60 years on, this model is still a fan favourite. And what's not to love? The stunning yellow livery, its unique appearance and its heritage. This truly is an example of railways and model railway engineering working in synergy. 2020 was an iconic year for us here at Hornby, and to celebrate, we released our Hornby Memory series on YouTube, sharing stories from the community, speaking to people at work at Hornby, and including a very special guest. It was amazing hearing all of your stories, so here are some highlights from the series.
Modelling is about detail. You know, whether you're collecting them or you're modelling, it's about detail. And my job for 50 years of my life has been about detail. It's about looking at the product, i.e. the artist or the television programme, seeing it as a whole. And I do, without that model railway background, I'm not sure I would have done what I've done, because it has been that quest for detail and perfection all the time that has driven me on, you know. Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, model railways have been part of my life since 1950. I mean, even when I worked in America back in the middle 70s, late 70s, early 80s, I used to take, in those days, you could take your trains on the plane. I used to take models on the plane and build them on the plane. I mean, yeah, I used to have a little bag with tools in, and I sat, instead of having lunch on the plane, I would actually do some modelling. I mean, the only thing you couldn't take was the soldering iron, but you got your pliers and your gluing. I mean, seriously, I mean, a lot of stuff that I made, particularly when we were making wagons, plastic kits, you know, I'd make them on the plane. And I remember I was working on the set of E.T., and I was making a kit, and Steven Spielberg said, "What are you doing?" You know, making trains. And he was, "Oh, I've got trains," but he was, you know, he was Americans. So it's amazing when you bump into people that are railway modelers. It's incredible.
First of all, love the people. I mean, there's no real demographic with people who are enthused or excited about model railways. You can have young children who are so excited when they see a train running round that they shake with real anticipation. And, you know, I get a real kick out of that because, you know, they're passionate, and what they're seeing will never ever leave them, you know, because what they're seeing is something big. You know, we're seeing something like that, they're seeing big, and it's exciting for them. I love going to the exhibitions, talking to the enthusiasts, talking to, you know, somebody who, you know, works in Switzerland trying to find a cure for cancer, and then the next minute I'm talking to a guy who's, you know, retired, probably, you know, work for the council or whatever, and everybody's on the same level because they're all interested and passionate about model railways or toy trains. It depends, you see. You know, I've never really come to grips with when does it go from being a toy train to a model train, and I've always tried to figure that out. But yeah, I mean, so many different aspects, so many different people, and they all get a different kick out of model railways. So it's the people, it's certainly the product. You know, I love the product, and not just Hornby product. I love to see all model railway product, whether it's O gauge, tin plate, old, new, whatever. Hornby, and I do believe there are other makes as well. But I mean, looking at the other makes as well. So yeah, no, it's just the whole thing, the accessories. You know, people who go to the nth degree to produce an absolutely pucker scale model at a moment in time, to people who just plug the track together and watch the trains race by. So I get a big kick out of all of it, to be perfectly honest. It's a bit of a cheaty answer, but I do. I'm just fascinated by it all.
You know, in the past, people have said to me that, you know, you go to work and the people that you work with, you spend more time with than your family, and it almost becomes your second family. And I've always been of the mindset that, you know, you come to work to do a good job, hopefully, and get the job done. So when I started at Hornby, that was the kind of mindset I had. And as I mentioned, Hornby has helped me grow and develop over the last few years. And one thing that has really sort of developed is the friendships that I've got with people at work here. So like I said, it's not a specific memory, it's an ongoing memory, but I'm very grateful to be in this business, to work with such wonderful people, and, you know, just to build friendships. You know, the people I work with aren't just friends, they are like a second family. We all enjoy what we do, we all want to achieve the same thing, and yeah, we're just a bit of a strange, unusual family, really. So yeah, not a specific memory, an ongoing one, but that's certainly something that's most important to me. I'm so grateful and feel so honoured. So when I started at Hornby, I was so pleased I've been given the opportunity to work for such a well-known household brand, and I'm just continually grateful. You know, model railways isn't something that I knew much about when I started. I didn't have a train set, I didn't have a layout, so I've kind of started from scratch, and there's a lot of wonderful people who work here who I've sort of utilised and learned from, and I've essentially been a bit of a sponge for the last 5 years.
My brother buying bits and pieces and putting them in a wardrobe down in our basement in the house, always with the plan of making a model railway, which he never did. And he's pushing 70 nearly now, and he still hasn't made his model railway. But that was my first memory, because I remember actually going in this, because you know the instructions were you mustn't go in this wardrobe. So obviously the first thing I did as soon as he went out was went in the wardrobe, and there was bits of track in packaging and things like that, and that's my first memory of Hornby, because that's when I saw the name. And I probably was about 5 years old or something like that, 6 years old. Well, it sort of did in a strange sort of way, because when I was with my other brother, looking in this wardrobe, we found in the bottom and some Airfix stuff. So and this Airfix, these Airfix were little figures, and there was a pontoon bridge, and so now my oldest brother didn't know that we got hold of this pontoon bridge, but we would take it into another room in the basement, and under the table we would roll dice and play against you know, you had 3 dice against 2 dice, that sort of thing, and you would then attack and destroy and annihilate your brother or something like that. But I can't for the life of me remember how the pontoon bridge fitted in, but the pontoon bridge was part of it. So it's sort of like a strange link to Airfix, really. You know, I've been through some tough times, and particularly, you know, personally tragic times. If it hadn't been for the model railways, I don't know how I'd have coped, because, you know, bereavement is a very difficult thing to cope with. I found the only way to cope with it was to literally go into my barn and play trains, because you can't, while you're modelling, you can't do anything else, you can't think of anything else. So your mates come round and you're modelling, you're not thinking about the realities of what's happened in your life or what is happening in your life, you just get on with it. So yeah, it's been a real, I guess, comfort blanket at times, when the only thing I had to hang on to was literally model trains. You know, people that come around your house when you've got model trains never want to ask you about your problems. Can we go and play trains? So you can forget your problems. As soon as you cut the controller and you're in charge of that, you know, that train or that engine, you forget all the problems.
It means it means the world, doesn't it? I mean, I've worked, I've been around sort of this industry officially since 1971. So that's a few years, and it's meant, you know, if it hadn't meant anything, then I wouldn't have done it for as long as I have. So it means a lot. I must admit, you know, my current wife has always said, you know, there's 3 people in this bed, herself, me, and Hornby, which I think is quite an amazing thing when you consider the number of people who work for Hornby, because the bed ain't that big. But, you know, it's always been a little bit of a balancing act. You know, is it the family? Is it Hornby? You know, Hornby supports the family, you know. So it's always been a little bit of a juggling game. But, you know, Hornby, to me, you know, it's a family. It's part of really what I do. So it means a huge, huge amount. And I'm very proud to be part of it.
Of course, without full-scale railways, our models wouldn't exist. And although we love our smaller scale representations, there's nothing quite like seeing the real thing. The engineering that goes into creating a locomotive is truly breathtaking. In 2018, it was announced that Locomotive Storage would be opening a museum to show off a collection of full-scale locomotives. Its home, right here next to Hornby. The first locomotive to be welcomed on site was Bitton. Since then, several other locomotives have joined the collection, and in August 2019, some lucky attendees were given a chance to see the new resident up close and personal.
In the last 18 months, the project has moved to planning permission from the local council, giving the go-ahead to turn the former Hornby warehouse into a brand new visitor attraction. The application was developed together with haptic architects. Their ideas include transforming the building's fascia to include wall displays which give you a sense of what the museum is about from the moment you arrive. Then take you on a fascinating journey into the world of locomotive engineering. Once open, it plans to operate the one-to-one collection museum 7 days a week. Joining us here in Margate, it will allow visitors to see the scale models before they see the real things next door. So, what does the future hold for Hornby? Well, this year we're going to be releasing our brand new app, HMDC, which will allow you to control your locomotives, your accessories and your points, all from your smart device. We continue to engage with the community on social media, including YouTube, embracing live production, video content and technology. We're releasing models to encourage younger modelers into the hobby with our Play Trains range to excite the next generation of model railway enthusiasts. And who knows, we may have a few surprises up our sleeve.
The past year has shown us that nothing in the world is certain, but one thing's for sure is that the passion for hobbies, railways and model railways will always be there, and as long as it is, Hornby will be along for the ride. Thank you for being here today. We do hope you'll join us on our YouTube channel in the future to see more of us, and of course follow us on social media. We'll leave you with our Hornby 100 film celebrating 100 years of Hornby. Until next time, I'm Mike.
I'm Nathan.
And we'll see you
at the next
stop.